was only for a few plays.
That's great, Vince. We're out of work and you're playing games. It's not like you couldn't use the time for anything else, right?
Look, we're not out of work.
Please. The school's giving you what, 2 days a week substitute teaching? You 10 bar at night? What do you call that? Gainfully employed?
What do you want me to do?
What do you want him to do? He says, what do you want him to do? That's like the best argument you could come up with when you're fighting with someone and you like don't have a real answer.
That there's nothing you can do in that moment because she's clearly mad. He's mad. That they're not moving past that. That's an argument he can't win.
Yeah. So you just say, what do you want me to do? He goes, I got nothing. What do you want me to do? I don't know.
That's
what to
the
do.
response. Yeah. Try out for the Eagles. That's what he should do.
He should try for the Eagles.
Welcome back. This is episode 115 of the Last Row podcast. Welcome all new listeners. Welcome back to everyone that's been with the show for a while. If you're looking for a website, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook.com/LastRowPod. Please consider subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. We hit just 300 subscriptions. That's awesome. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podchaser. Badway, welcome back. I'm excited here.
We don't even have real videos on YouTube.
The only video that's out there is a vertical video, sideways actually, of you and me playing Primal Rage in a barcade in like, what was it, 2015?
2015? I don't know.
One day we'll have some videos. We're going to do some live streams here, probably coming soon. Yeah, we will.
We're going to pump up those rookie numbers once we get actual videos on there. So we're here today to talk about Invincible. August 25th, 2006. Were you in the movie business at this time?
I was in the movie business, but not in the theater watching this one.
Okay, you did not see it.
I think this was my rookie year in the movie business, actually. I was a rook.
Okay. Yeah, so with a runtime of 1 hour, 45 minutes... That's about right.
It's about right. That's about right.
Could have been an hour 30, but you know. Sports/drama/biopic.
Yeah, I guess I should have put that on there, shouldn't I have?
I know what it is. I know. Direct by Erickson Core. What do you know about Erickson Core?
I know that sounds like a fake name to me. I thought it was fake, actually. I was like, is this right?
So he only directed... this is a directorial debut. And then he went on to direct the Point Break remake.
Listen, is it disrespectful if I say I could tell this was his debut? Is it disrespectful?
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little disrespectful. Yeah. I didn't say it was wrong, but it's a little disrespectful.
He could do it better. Look, I'm not saying I could do better. I'm not saying I could do better, but I'm just saying.
So he's sitting next to you in the movie theater, right? You're watching it. The credits roll. You turn to him and you go, "So, first time, huh?" Is that you? Is that what you say?
It's like the opposite of the meme of him at the hanging thing. Yeah, first time, huh?
First time, huh?
Not bad. Yeah. Not bad, huh?
That's pretty disrespectful.
I'm not saying I could do better.
IMDb 7 out of 10. Way too high.
Too high. Look, I'm an Eagles fan, and you are too, and that's too high. Sorry.
Too high. Rotten Tomatoes 72%.
Way too
high.
It's surprising, isn't it? It's like I didn't think that this would be that acclaimed. Like
it should be 49 or 51%.
It's surprising to me that 72.
Yeah. Metacritic 46%.
That's about right.
Now we're talking.
That's about right.
Because it's not a bad movie. It's a movie. That should be the tagline. Invincible. It's a movie. Letterboxd 3.1. Too high.
It's too high, right?
Like, look, just because it has Disney on it doesn't mean that we got to praise it, right?
I'm an Eagles fan. Like this should be up my alley.
Yeah, this should be our type of movie, but it is what it is. You know, call it like I see it.
It's all right. I think this is like a 2.5 in my opinion. I think I would give it that.
It's movie. It's a movie.
It's a 2.5, and I liked it, but it's not that great.
Yeah, that was out of 15,000 votes. Lifelong football fan Vince Papale, played by Mark Wahlberg, sees his wildest dreams come true when he becomes a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. While teaching at his high school alma mater in Pennsylvania, the 30-year-old gets a chance to try out for his favorite team and, except for kickers, becomes the oldest rookie in NFL history who never played college in football. I said that wrong. Never played football in college.
You say never played college in football?
Rated R.
Where's like Scott Bakula? Why isn't he playing Vince Papale? Because I actually feel like his age and the way he looks is a better fit than Mark Wahlberg in this. We'll get into that later.
Real Vince Papale.
Like, no, look, I'm just going to ask you this outright. So we talk about this guy is a lifelong, he's a teacher, he's a bartender. Did you like this more than the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon?
Oh man, I mean, did I like it more? No, I feel like the garbage kicking movie's better.
That's
honestly.
A better movie. It's got Tony Danza.
Yeah. It's a terrible movie, actually. But like, when you're talking about rewatchability and enjoyability,
yes,
give me Danza, right?
If you're listening and you watch this movie, the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon starring Tony Danza, the old Disney Channel movie, please send us an email at thelastropodcast@gmail.com. Let us know, because I was disappointed when I looked on Disney Plus for this movie and it is nowhere to be found.
It's too many words in the title. Can we get a smaller title?
Taglines. Okay, ready? These are some interesting ones. There's only a couple. Dreams are not lived on the sidelines. Kind of false. He's on the sidelines most of the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, he's wearing the uniform. His dream came true. I mean, he's on the team.
And he's on the sidelines most of the time, other than kicks.
Yeah. 4 plays a game.
This is a violation one. In 1976, a 30-year-old bartender who played only 1 year of high school football tried to become the NFL's most unlikely rookie. Like,
how many commas are going to be in a tagline?
That movie poster is the CVS receipts of movie posters to fit all those words on there is what that is.
Like, I always say, don't give me the life story of the guy, the movie poster. Right?
We got the synopsis already. I mean, you don't need that. All right, let's see here. One man's impossible dream ... became his biggest triumph. Exclamation. That's how you have to do that, right? Like, you have to add the thing on the end, right?
Sure. It's not that great. Is that all we got?
Yeah, I think so. It's
the non-win. Let's have no tagline.
I don't really like them. And so the financials are disputed here because I found different things, and I saw this in a couple places. So what I saw on IMDb, and I think it was Wikipedia, it said it had a $40 million budget and it made $58 million gross worldwide. So that was more than what we saw earlier. So I'm not sure exactly how this made, but it was a modest success according to these numbers.
Yeah.
A modest success. But I would imagine they would have wanted more. Like, Disney doesn't really make those live action family movies like in this style anymore, right? Like, you had Invincible, you had Miracle, you had some of these others we'll get to in that, but like,
well, even like back in the 90s starting with like Mighty Ducks, Cool Runnings, things like that.
Yeah. I miss those.
They became less and less popular as the years went on.
I guess it's just easier for them to do the animated style stuff where they can
make the most money. You might as well dump all of your eggs in that basket, in the animation basket, if they're the ones that are making all the money.
This one, so we got a new award category here, Badway.
Ooh.
This is a first for us. So it was nominated for 2 awards in 2007. The movie came out in 2006. The first one, and this is the debut nomination of this award on our show. It was nominated for an ESPY for the best sports movie.
Ooh. An ESPY nominee, though. It didn't win.
And it lost. So tell me whether you think it should have won. And I can guess your answer already, but it was up against We Are Marshall.
Okay.
It was up against Pride.
Yep.
And it lost ultimately to Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
That's not fair. That's not a sports movie.
It's like a comedy.
You could debate whether NASCAR is a sport or not, but to call Talladega Nights a sports movie is pretty ridiculous.
It's like
a cheat code.
That is a cheat code. And it was also nominated for an MTV Movie and TV Award in 2007 for Best Kiss between Mark Wahlberg and Elizabeth Banks. It was nominated against Stomp the Yard with Columbus Short and Megan Good, Little Man, Marlon Wayans and Brittany Daniel, The Holiday, Jude Law and Cameron Diaz, Invincible, like we said. And again, it lost to Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, The Kiss between Will Ferrell and Sacha Baron Cohen. Again,
just sweeping the categories. Another cheat code.
Where,
Can I say though, the kiss between Mark Wahlberg and Elizabeth Banks? There were no fireworks there.
It wasn't award worthy for you?
No.
I thought they had chemistry. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know.
C minus chemistry.
I'll tell you what, he went in for the tongue very, very much, very quickly. I felt like it was a little overly passionate, in my opinion.
Mark Wahlberg for you. That was Vince Papale kissing her. That was Mark Wahlberg kissing her.
He didn't try to be Vince Papale in that one.
No.
Where's the Blockbuster Entertainment Award in this? Like, isn't 07 like right around that time, or is that at the point where it started to die down? Like, where were we at?
Is this really an award-winning movie? So, like,
that's true.
No, I could see why it's not nominated.
That is
for
true.
Many things.
Well, I mean, look. So we talked about this movie being the story of Vince Papale. You mentioned it in the synopsis. I'm going to hit you up with some truth bombs and the audience with some truth bombs.
Ooh.
So, did you know about this? I know you're an Eagles fan. You've been a lifelong Eagles fan. We'll talk about that in a bit. Did you know how accurate this movie was or was not before watching this?
No, I assumed they took some liberties, but I didn't know the full story.
The interesting thing, and I looked this up, and I have some facts that I'm going to spit out here, and tell me what you think about this. And we can talk about some of these and whether the deviations that they made were worthy, or maybe you play the director and the movie makers, and you tell me why we had to do some of this stuff.
Okay.
So the first thing is the movie centers around this walk-on situation where it's an open public tryout. Well, in reality, and they made it seem like he never played before ever. So he actually did play for the Delaware County Rough Touch League in Pennsylvania in the late 60s. And then that was before his semi-pro experience and then the pro experience. He also played on a semi-pro team, and he played 2 seasons with a team called the Philadelphia Bell of the World Football League. And that was one of the NFL's rival leagues on the level of the AFL back in the day and the USFL. Okay. He was a special team star for the Bell. So he was already playing special teams. It wasn't like that coach taught him how to run.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was he earned a spot on that Bell roster, and they used that as a model for the tryout shown in the movie, but he actually was on a private workout. So Vermeil saw tape of this thing and invited him to a private workout for the Eagles. So that whole thing was concocted for the movie. So tell me, do you think that was the right move or not?
Yeah, you have to, because it was a comedy bit, right? So you gotta make it entertaining. Otherwise, what you're doing is you're gonna have Vermeil scouting this Bush League, arena league, for lack of a better term, right? It's literally a Bush League. I'm not being a jerk about things. He's doing it for the love of the game. And if you're going to go through all that, that's extra budget to make the money, and it's not fun. It's not funny. It's just showing him being a good football player among other good football players. This movie was clearly made to be a rags to riches type thing, and why let real life get in the way of a good story, right?
Would it be more like, I'm not sure what that movie was. Was it American Underdog with Kurt Warner, where he's I don't know if they showed him in the grocery store in that movie. I've not seen it. It looks like a Hallmark movie or like a direct to TV movie, which is just wild to me.
Do you think, like, in the Kurt Warner story, like they say, like he was bagging groceries and that's how we were stocking shelves. Yeah. Do you think there's a scene in that movie where he's like throwing toilet paper into a cart?
Like Junior?
Like Junior from 50 yards away, and then Dick Vermeil just happened to walk by and goes, "Wait a minute, kid.
This kid's got it
here. This kid's got something here."
Where's Robert Loggia when you need him?
Where's Robert Loggia?
This kid's got it.
This kid's got it. So he wished on his old tar.
I'll go with you on this one. I think you're right. Like, it made for more of an interesting story. Now, this one is one that I need to ask: is this a violation or not? So, I'll read it exactly as it says. Okay. So it says that the movie portrays Vince meeting Janet before the tryouts. That's Elizabeth Banks' character in the movie.
The Banks character, okay.
Yes. In real life, Papale dated and married his second wife, Sandy, during the movie's time frame, which is what we saw. He was divorced and met Janet after his Eagles career, as the couple married in 1993. Now, I have some questions about this because they manipulated the relationship to make a better story. But, like, if you're Sandy, are you, like, what, right?
So, to be clear, the movie portrayed his relationship before he actually met his wife, who was given the name in the movie.
Correct.
Man, why didn't they just name the character Sandy?
I guess because it's his ex-wife, I guess.
It seems very disrespectful, right?
Yeah, it does.
How do you, like, Did you think they interviewed Vince Papale and he was remembering quote unquote the good old times? Man, Sandy, she was a real sex pot back in the day. Oh, I miss Sandy. And Janet's like, yo, dude, stand right here.
Yeah, they had to erase it.
Sorry, babe, just trying to make it realistic for the movie.
Or maybe, maybe it's your chance to like, let me erase Sandy from my life. And if I could do it over, I'd have met Janet here instead. And maybe that's what it was. It was like a real life do-over. But I don't know anything about the relationship there, but it's just interesting that they would just sort of erase that and change it for the story. It's like weird because it's real.
Was Sandy a Giants fan? Because I mean, that would be like, whoa, that's too much. he's remembering about the quote unquote good old days too hard for real life Janet to handle, I would say. I mean, that's a talking to right there. That's a doghouse.
It's just weird to me. It seems like a violation, in my opinion. It just seems like a very weird thing. I just don't like it.
Yeah. I just imagine her sitting next to him during the premiere, and her be like, "The hell."
Well, so then I already mentioned this part, the open tryout on the Bell roster. They used that. That was one of the minor league teams or the sort of feeder league teams that they used for the tryout for the movie. So he participated in a private workout for the Eagles. So we got that. I think you mentioned that. I think that's better. Yeah. Then the other thing that stood out was on this list was that the opening scene, the Eagles get their butts whipped by the Bengals. And it was the opening, it wasn't an opening game, but it was like I think it was one of the last games of the season. And then the fans talk about, oh, they lost to a team worse than we were. But actually the year before, the Bengals were 11-3 and were the wild card team in the AFC. So they were actually pretty good. So I don't know why they did that.
Eagles fans always think the other team is a bunch of bums. So they're all bums.
How could you lose that game, right?
Yeah, how could you lose the game to those bums?
We're allowed to say it because we're part of it. And then the other one was that the game against the Giants that was supposed to be this close defensive struggle, and the Eagles were in this tight game. It was like they're up 7-0, and then the reality is that they actually won really easily, 20-7. And I think the Giants didn't even score till the end. And that miraculous fumble recovery that they showed in like the climax, it didn't count because in the actual NFL rules, the ball can't be advanced.
I stood up right away when I saw the scene. I was like, wait a minute, that's a muff. You can't advance a muff.
Can't do that.
Can't do it. You can just recover the fumble, you get the ball right there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make a good story.
It's like,
score a touchdown.
Punt.
Get up and score a touchdown, Marky.
Yeah. It was still a critical play, right? Obviously in the game. But he did score an NFL a touchdown, but it was in a preseason game. Yeah. And I think that was pretty much it. Other than that, I think he had one catch for about 15 yards in his career. So there wasn't much to it. Yeah. But these were some of the differences from the movies.
Again, you know what, though? Let him score a touchdown in the movie. I feel like even if you're a football fan, casual, but still a football fan, you probably don't know that rule. So it's like, oh, yeah, sure. Get the punt, fumble recovery, touchdown. Sure. Like, it's real enough. We don't have to go line specific to the NFL rulebook.
You mean they don't have an NFL consultant here checking every detail?
And I'm pretty sure that Rudy did not get a sack in his first game like he did in the movie. But we got to end the movie with Rudy getting a sack. You have to.
I think that if we ever do that movie, we have to have our friend Ty on. I know we got to do that. One day we'll do that movie. Yeah. We'll have Ty. Ty, if you're listening, we'll have you on for that one. That'll be a lot of fun. Well, then let's talk about biopics, right? Because you mentioned you got to embellish the story for a good story. Do you prefer something that takes more liberties? Like, what are maybe some of your other favorite biopics? How does this thing rank against it? I know you're on the record of saying now that you're not sure about this movie. Like, what else do you like that maybe is better?
Oh yeah, but you have to juice up the story, like Raging Bull, Goodfellas. I don't know. I mean, I go on naming biopics. Social Network's another one. Like, if we just told the story of the Social Network and left out some of the juicy details of the movie, like, it might be more of a boring movie. So you got to spice it up. You have to. Now, having said that, I think many biopics follow the same formula. And it's a very repetitive genre. A lot of them tend to be pretty generic. And I think that's a problem with that. I think that's the problem that you had with this movie, and so did I, right?
It's like cookie cutter.
It's like biopics are very cookie cutter. Especially like audio biopics, like The Doors and Bohemian Rhapsody. You show the great, you show the come up, then you show the glamour, then the fall, and then the rise again. I mean, it happens everywhere. That kind of happened in this movie too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I think so. I forgot what episode it was. Maybe it was 75 when we did Rockstar, another Mark Wahlberg movie, right? The Triumphant Return of Mark Wahlberg. That would have been a biopic. I mean, I guess you technically could call it a biopic of Steel Dragon, but it was supposed to be about Judas Priest. But I liked that it wasn't real because it made it better.
Yeah.
Like I liked it because the liberties that they took were fake, and it was great.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. There's a mockumentary, but what's like the
Spinal Tap?
Yeah, but what's the equivalent of a fake biography? I don't know.
I guess it's a mockumentary.
Who knows?
Or something like that.
But my favorite biopic is probably Titanic, right?
Yeah. Like, so you said that this is a biopic, but like, what is it? A biography about like the ship? Like
the ship?
The ship
ship
is the biography, but like, Jack and Rose are not real people.
Yeah.
Like, that we know of.
Do you think there were more interesting people on that ship than a fake Jack and Rose?
Probably
They told the best story. You got to jazz it up. Otherwise, it's just rich assholes go out on a trip and iceberg down it goes. Let's jazz it up.
Yeah, they like an actually historically accurate movie of just people dying on a ship. It's like,
we need smug Billy Zane as a heel. We need Jack and Rose sexing it up on the depths of the Titanic. We need it. Some say the iceberg didn't sink it. It's the earth shattering sex that they had in that car down in the decks. That's what really broke
rocked
the
ship apart. They rocked it apart.
That's what lore says.
Yo, speaking of this, I forgot, was it you or our friend? One of our friends sent us the video of deep fakes have gotten like really good.
Yeah.
It's a deep fake of Arnold Schwarzenegger on Kate Winslet. Was it my brother?
Yeah.
Of Arnold. So shout out to my brother. He sent a picture. It was a deep fake of Arnold Schwarzenegger's face, and it's paint me like one of your French girls, Jack, and it's him.
Come on, do it.
It's so ridiculous.
It's like it put me off. I was like almost like grossed out by it. It was so realistic.
Well, listen, you're on the record of saying that you don't like to watch Arnold in a romantic scenario.
No, not at all.
That's like the opposite. It's like the other side of Arnold on a romantic scenario. But no, I'm not really a biopic guy. Like I don't know. I guess I watch some of these things, but I'm not really like rushing out to watch Bohemian Rhapsody. To me, like it's cool.
You know what's going to happen.
Do you think they're Oscar bait too? Like a biopic?
Yes. There's an Elvis one out right now that's trying to win the Oscar.
Like, you don't think that guy deserves it, Austin Butler? Like, no. I've never seen it, but I have no interest in watching that movie.
Come on, man. I don't know. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Listen, when you watch fantastic cinema like Sudden Death and Hard Target, like I have no time for Baz Luhrmann's Elvis in my life here. I got other things to watch.
Somebody made up Casey Ryback and Under Siege. Freaking Elvis exists. We already know his story. They're just it's like giving a person who colored in a coloring book artist of the year over someone who drew a picture from scratch. Like
the story was already there for you.
Yeah, you just colored it in.
I think
you chose great colors. Great shading. But you didn't draw the picture. You just colored it in.
Do you hear all of those notifications? Like our email inbox is already getting like torpedoed right now.
Freddie Mercury exists. Rami Malek just did his homework really well.
Well, let's talk. I think that's a good segue here because you know who didn't seem like they did their homework? It certainly didn't seem like it.
Yeah.
Did it seem like so Rami Malek became Freddie Mercury?
Yeah.
Austin Butler became Elvis. It's like they transformed into these people. Mark Wahlberg transformed into a guy wearing a football jersey, right? Yeah. Like he put on some pads.
Okay.
Right? What's your thoughts?
Here's where I'm going to defend Wahlberg and at the same time bash him. So Elvis and Freddie Mercury, we'll use those two as the example. They are very charismatic people, very like larger than life people.
Distinct
characters. Vince Papale is a dude from Philly. So you're not really working with much if you're Mark Wahlberg to become dude from Philly, right?
They should have got Scott Bakula, Dennis Quaid here. Come on.
Yeah. But at the same time, Wahlberg chose to play Mark Wahlberg in this movie.
He didn't even try to do like a Philly accent. Like not at all.
Not even try.
Listen, you watched the show. You watched it, right? Mayor of Easttown.
Oh,
where you got, speaking of Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
She does the accent like go home. Like she does
Yeah.
like exactly like that Delco. Like it's so
So
but
good.
I know we have global listeners on this show. So if you guys are not familiar with the Northeast, Philadelphia and the suburbs of Philadelphia has a very, very distinct accent. Watch Mayor of Easttown on HBO and you will know exactly what we're talking
Oh
about.
yeah, and this is for our listeners in South America, Drew, Canada,
Uh,
all over
hey,
the
we're-
world.
We're big on the charts
Bosnia.
in Europe right now. I saw on iTunes or
Yeah.
Apple Podcasts. So
Yeah.
you guys watch Mayor of Easttown. You'll know exactly what we're talking about.
So yeah, Wahlberg, he wasn't very good, was he?
No, I mean, I like Wahlberg. I like
even
him.
though he didn't even try to do the accent, which we've bashed Freddie Prinze Jr. for trying, failing, and then dropping the Boston accent in Summer Catch.
At
least he tried. We did give him credit for trying.
He tried.
He tried.
Like Wahlberg didn't even try, man.
You know what? You know why? You know why he didn't even try?
Why?
Because first time director, huh? He
There you
had
go.
no power over Mark Wahlberg to tell him to do it.
He's like, I'm not doing that.
Mark, you got the script 6 weeks ago, right? Have you read the script? He's from Philly. Did you? No, I'm sorry. No, I didn't. So we're going to continue? I want you to do a Philly accent, Mark. Oh, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I'm just going to do it my way. Okay, are you ready? And then boom, shut down. That's how it went.
Listen, I like Mark Wahlberg. So like, I'm a fan of his movies. Like I like movies that he's in. Obviously, we watched Rockstar. I love him in that movie. I actually think he's great. Like I don't think he could have had someone better cast than that. I think we've said that before. But it's just a weird choice of casting for Vince Papale here.
So
like I don't get it.
So there's a difference. So that movie, it's clear he's having fun in that movie because it's ridiculous. This movie to me looks like a paycheck to him,
It does.
where he's just like, I'm just going to say my lines and I'll be Mark Wahlberg and I'll collect a paycheck. Right?
Yeah. Look, you want to do like a Wes Welker biopic? I'm cutting it deep here. Are you gonna go do like a Danny Amendola one? Cast Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. Like you got the short, scrappy guy. Like that's him. But it just does not work for this. Like give me Dennis Quaid. Like where is and Scott Bakula? Like maybe it's too close to Unnecessary Roughness.
Well,
I don't know.
Like the guy's 30, not 46.
I know, but he looks old, doesn't he? Like Vince Papale doesn't look young. Like he's a tall guy. Like I don't know.
You know what though? What Wahlberg does really well is play 70s.
That's true. That's true.
It looks like you could put him right in the 70s. He fit
hair
right in.
It's the hair.
Yeah.
It's the hair.
Yep.
So you don't think he did not become the character like these other people did, but you're saying that the others had an unfair advantage because they had more to work with than what he did.
He wasn't a character at all. He just was a guy. He's Guy. Just showing up, doing whatever. He didn't look like a character in the movie. He looked like an actor to me, just saying his lines.
Like you guys said that about Ben Affleck playing Batman. You're like, I can't see Batman. I just see Ben Affleck.
Well, that's different. I'm not knocking Affleck's acting in that scenario. he's so famous that when you make him Batman, the Affleck overpowers the Batman.
Yeah, okay.
There's a difference there.
So what about ammunition for him to act? So there's a very pivotal moment that we talked about earlier about his wife leaving him. So we can talk about this scenario.
What do you want him to do?
Do you think he played it well about his wife leaving? And we need to talk a little bit about the wife leaving. I know you got some thoughts on it, but did he handle that well? And the emotions, bashing the house down?
So that was the most acting he did in the whole movie, was in the scene where, what do you want me to do? So I want to talk about his wife. Now his wife is only in it for one scene, right? She's in it for what? 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's about that.
And I think it's the main character of the movie. I have questions.
All right. We need to answer these.
First of all, he walks to the door. He's a little dinged up from playing, hardcore touch football or whatever.
It happens.
Right? It happens.
We've all been there.
We also know that, he's a very part-time teacher and a very part-time bartender for probably a failing bar, right? They don't make a lot of money at Max's.
To get the whole town drinking for free there. So
he gets home from playing a little football with his buddies, a sliver, a modicum of enjoyment in this guy's pathetic life. No offense, but his life is, come on. He knows.
At that point, it's pretty rough.
What do you want him to do? He knows. He walks to the door and starts taking shit immediately from his wife.
Yeah.
Why aren't you out looking for a job? It's freaking 9 p.m. To his defense, he has 2 jobs.
Yeah.
No one's hiring Drew.
What was she doing? We don't even know what she was doing.
What was she doing is my question.
Well, I don't know.
Why are you out working your second job? I have 2 jobs. Why aren't you out for your second job? It's not like they have kids. They don't have kids.
That's true. But did they?
Is it fair?
Did they show when he started playing football? Because what if he started at 8 a.m. and like I don't know when?
No, it was dark. It was dark football.
Yeah, but they didn't show the beginning of the game.
What do you think? They're playing a 5-hour game? What's going on?
It's a tournament, man.
It's a tournament.
Like the tourney.
Was it like a Tuesday morning?
It wasn't like he was. Yeah, because that's the thing, right? Like if you're, I'll paint this scenario. Yeah. Like I'm very animated about this. Like let's say
I'm passionate about this.
You like I'm thinking about Ari Gold from Entourage, right? Yeah. He gets fired from his job, but he puts his suit on.
Yeah.
And he leaves anyway, and he acts like he's going to work.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a situation where Mark Wahlberg put his teacher's outfit on and said, "Oh, honey, I'll see you later," and went and played football all day.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like he wasn't lying.
Let me window into that, because that's a great point you bring up. That I'm that guy. I would be that guy. If I were married, and I got fired and I was embarrassed about it, I'd probably like act like I was going to work for a couple of days till I was ready to tell her.
Listen, ladies. Listen out here, all the ladies.
It shows you my pride.
No, but think about that. Like she might have an argument if this dude dressed up like a teacher, took his little teacher briefcase and backpack and the lunch pail and said, "All right, see you later, honey." And then he went and played football all day. No, he was just trying to let off some steam with his friends.
But we didn't know that he actually got let go from his teaching job until after anyways.
Right.
So he did lose that job, but it had nothing to do with the football. And like at that time, he did still have a second job. But like, yeah, we don't have all the information to say how long he was playing football for, but this is equivalent to like you go on Twitter and like let's use Philadelphia sports as an example, like Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah.
If Ben Simmons is on Instagram showing that he's at a party at on a Saturday night, there's people leaving messages saying, "Why aren't you in the gym shooting? Why aren't you in the gym getting better at basketball?" It's like if you're a celebrity, or especially like a sports star in Philadelphia, you're not allowed a second of enjoyment because you should be out there working.
You need to
get out there and keep working on your game.
I'm working. Why aren't you?
So this is her mentality. It's like, what are you doing having any fun? You have 2 part-time jobs. You need more work. What are you doing? How dare you play football? Like the guy's not allowed to have any fun.
But what is he? This is 1968, right? Like the internet doesn't exist, so he's not like he can be on Indeed.com or LinkedIn trying to find jobs.
The next edition of the paper comes at his doorstep at 5 a.m. The new classifieds.
What is he supposed to do? Like he can't look for a job at 9 p.m.
Exactly. And what did he say?
What am I supposed to do?
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do, woman? What do you want me to do?
What do you want him to do? Like he just.
So was it fair? I say it's totally unfair the way he's attacked.
It's a violation, and you know what? I'd have busted my house up too.
And you know what? I bet there's more to the story. If this is how his wife left him, there's probably more to the story. Maybe he was a bad husband. It's possible, but
certainly
it shouldn't be for the football and like him not finding a job. And then like later in the movie, he goes and meets his dad in a pretty depressing scene where it's like his dad's kind of sad and like he's he's a hardworking dad and all this and that. And he's like, she's out there. He said a line like, I never liked her. And he said, she's out there acting like, all of us are struggling to make ends meet. And that was a powerful line, I thought.
I thought his dad. So that's the other thing about this movie. It's really weird, right? It's very depressing in a lot of ways. Like they're showing the all the guys on strike, his friends miserable in the bar, drunk all the time, his dad. They almost like set this up like as if he had a bad relationship with his dad, right? Like that's what they wanted you to think, but he wasn't.
I think it's just like they don't show emotion, that kind of thing. It's that hard, tough. Like they love each other, but his dad doesn't say it, but he means it.
But I agree with you in that like it's not like everyone's not trying to get meet the ends meet.
The entire town is struggling with work, especially at the backdrop of the strike, the union strike, right? So the way he says, we're all struggling to make ends meet. She's acting like everyone's having like, Tommy down the street, Jimmy down the block. They don't have amazing lives.
Right.
Like everyone's struggling right now. So who is she? She's trying to play some football, trying to get some positivity in his life. The Eagles aren't even on yet. It's the summer.
You know what? He's better off. She's no Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks, even Giants fandom aside.
You know what?
At least she liked him.
He's better off. because she does him a favor and she leaves him, Drew. We're still on the wife. Even though she's in the movie for 2 minutes, this is what we do. She leaves him.
This
what
is
does
what
she
the
do?
people come for.
She took everything. The house is empty except for a phone in the middle of the floor.
Shouldn't she have taken that too? I mean,
Yeah.
why not
And
just take that too?
Taped to the phone was a handwritten note saying, "You're nothing and you'll never be nothing."
On a ripped up piece of paper too. It was like a back of
yeah.
a binder.
And that's not the most disrespectful thing, Drew. The
What
most
was it?
disrespectful thing was she left the door open on the way out. She hired a moving company. She moved all of the furniture out. 2 floors, Drew. Couches, tables, TV, etc., etc. And she didn't close the door on the way out.
Dude,
What's up with that?
some would say that is cold-blooded. Would you?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
come on. Like how much more disrespectful could you be? So he
Yeah.
played football and she took everything.
She took everything.
Like, shouldn't he sue her? I mean, come on.
You know, he's
That's
too
why
nice
they
a
have
guy.
divorce
He's
attorneys.
too nice a guy. He's like, oh, you know what? Things happen. People leave. That's what he says.
She took it all before he could ask for half of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. And she should have taken the
Yeah.
phone. I mean, it's
And,
more
you know-
disrespectful that she left
Yeah.
the phone.
At this point, he lost his substitute teacher job through no fault of his own. You know, times are tough. They had to cut budgets. So all he's got is this 3-night-a-week bartending job. He can't afford a divorce lawyer.
Oh my God.
So she did the smart thing. She took it. It's like possession's 9/10 of the law. Boom, he's got no couch.
Do you think she left the door open on purpose, or was it she was in such a rush to get the hell out of there
Yeah.
that she just
No.
left it open?
No, she did. It was a.
She was sending a message?
It was a message, and he busted in the door thinking like someone was robbed. He was worried for her well-being.
Yeah.
Linda, I don't know if her
Good
name's
guy.
Linda. Linda, where are you? Linda, hello. Oh,
Good
she
guy.
left. Oh, she left it and left me the most hateful message you could ever leave someone. Damn, this woman, she did a number on him.
It's messed up, man. And I still say it. She should have just taken the phone. Like, why did she even leave that?
Yeah, why leave the phone? That's like, it's more disrespectful to leave the phone.
Like, oh, call
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
to
Call-
go
Call someone who cares. Call someone who cares.
That's what it was.
yeah.
Leave the door open. I'm
Yeah.
out of here. The
Yeah.
door's open, and I'm not coming back. Call someone who cares about it.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh man.
Damn.
Jeez. If he hadn't played football that night, would she have left?
It wouldn't have been that night, but he's going to be playing football some other night.
Eventually. Has she ever seen him play? He's really good. Has she ever
Yeah, I
seen
mean,
him play?
Well, that's another thing why he's better off. She should be at the game. Like, they could be hanging
Yeah.
out. And, it's just messed up, in my opinion.
Man. Last thing. She's gone. He gets mad and starts breaking his own house, punching his walls, doing this and that.
Can you blame him?
What's up with that? Is that like, have you ever been in a fit of rage and you broke something, even if it's something small, and then you're like, damn, I should have broke that.
I think I threw like a controller one time.
Yeah, or even like breaking a video game controller or something. It's like, shit.
I might have punched a drywall before, and like I don't remember. I know my brother and I got into a fight. Speaking of my brother, where we pushed each other into like a drywall, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he pushed me into it, and then there was like a giant like dent or hole. I'm
Yeah,
like,
but that's not
That's
like
different.
that's not calculated destruction of the house.
yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
rage
yeah.
quit of
Yeah.
something. I don't. Probably I broke a controller or something.
Yeah, but that's like one little thing. You're like, man, that was dumb. I should have done that. Imagine if you like destroy your house, and it's not even your house. You're renting. It's like, man,
Like, what if he just burned it
now I
down?
now I have to clean all this up. This sucks.
Like
I-
he was mad, but he didn't burn it down.
Yeah. So I was at a friend's house, like way when we were kids, right? I don't know, maybe like 12, 13, 14 years old. And the one kid's whose house we were at, it's a nice house. It was a really nice house. He's got into a fight with another kid in his house. And they're fighting each other, and they're mad, and they're yelling, and we're separating them. And the kid whose house it is, he was so mad, he spit on the floor. He spit on the floor of his own house. And that's what,
like-
I don't know why, that's what this reminded me of.
You can't disrespect your house like
Yeah,
that.
like, what does that do? You just spit on your own house. And we made fun of him immediately. It's like, dude, you just spit on your own house.
Rightfully
You're
so.
going to have to clean your spit up now.
That's dumb. That's
Yeah.
just dumb. Like and the fact is, this wasn't even Wahlberg's house, right? He was renting it.
He was
So
renting. He's
he
not, yeah.
effed up a house that he couldn't even, he had to ask his dad for rent. What
Yeah.
about the security deposit? And what about fixing all those walls?
He's losing that security deposit. That's for sure.
Oh man, I wonder if that was real or
Yeah,
not.
it's almost like he's got better get a job being a Philadelphia Eagle, or else he's not going to be able to pay for all this.
I don't even know what being an Eagle in 1968 paid or whatever the year. I forgot what year this was. 1970s,
I bet it was like 50,000 for low,
right?
which is
It
probably a
was.
lot in the 70s.
Yeah, 76. I keep
That's-
saying 68.
It's a decent living, I'm sure. I bet it was like 50,000. That's my guess.
It probably, yeah.
All right, let me look this up. So, okay.
What are you looking up the salary of the average
average salary? I don't know what year the movie was. I think it was 76.
76.
Yeah.
76.
Okay. So there you go. Average salary $62,000. So
That's
probably
not bad.
he probably made under that, but still good money for the time.
Is that adjusted for inflation?
Yeah. It was up 13% from the previous year. So the business was booming in the NFL.
That's pretty good.
Highest paid player, O.J. Simpson, $733,000.
Man.
Highest paid quarterback, $360,000. Doesn't say who. Fran Tankerton.
Fran.
There you go.
Yeah.
Viking, great.
The legend.
The legend.
Maybe not legends, but underdog players like obviously Vince Papale. And I'm going to talk about him as a fictional character. Like I know he's a real person.
Yeah.
And I know that he has a tale that was told, but this tale is different. So I'm gonna refer to him as a fictional character.
Yeah.
Some of these people that I'm about to name you are also real, but some are fictional. But like, where does the character in this movie rank against some of the underdog players in other movies? It could be football, it could be baseball, it could be whatever, right? But you got like people like Rudy you mentioned earlier. Like where does Papale in this movie rank to you against some of these people?
Because we talked about this right before we went on air, is that this movie tried really hard to be emotional at certain points, and it just couldn't get there.
Yeah.
And even as an Eagles fan who knew the basic story of Vince Papale, I was ready to get into it, and I just didn't care. Right? I just didn't care. Like it was, I wasn't bored by the movie, but it was just like. I could. They telegraphed the scenes to which they tried to get you to emotionally invest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the scene where the dad's at the bar and Vince is playing against the Giants, right, or the Cowboys. I think it's the Cowboys. The first game.
The first one, yeah, when he gets his butt whipped,
and the guy goes, "That's your boy playing for the Eagles," and like they cued in like the cry music to try to get you to cry, and the dad's eyes were teary. That's a thing where if it's a good movie, you start crying yourself.
Yeah.
You tear up, right?
Like, talk about Remember the Titans. Like, that's going to get me. Remember
Yeah.
the Titans, that kind of movie.
But like this, like nothing. Not nothing for me.
Nothing.
At all.
Is it Wahlberg? Is that why?
I think it's a lot of things, including the writing of the movie. It's everything.
True.
Everybody phoned it in. Because the story was easy to tell, and they just wanted to get it out there. I don't think a lot of people believed in this project. So they just kind of like did it.
They did. I saw something where like the Disney they saw that the NFL was super popular and they had to capitalize on this. And it's like, of course, the NFL is the most popular sport in America.
Yeah, like that's probably very cookie cutter because of that. Because it's like a soulless corporation tries to emulate another soulless corporation. Disney and the NFL go hand in hand.
I like that there.
And when you got a bunch of suits making this movie, and then you add in Mark Wahlberg, who doesn't give a shit. that equals a movie with not a lot of heart, right?
What about the field goal kicker? Like, is he Tony Danza? I forgot his name in the movie.
On the contrary to Mark Wahlberg, Tony Danza needed this shit, right?
Yeah, he did.
This is 1998. Tony Danza is not doing well.
He just got done dying in Angels in the Outfield of cancer, right?
Yeah, he was washed up in Angels in the Outfield.
He was literally in the tub.
Both character wise and career wise, he was 2 feet in the tub, man. Bubbles, the rubber duckies were everywhere. The bubble bath. He was that close to washed.
He's literally the picture of our cover for that was him in the tub.
So when Disney came to him and went, "Listen, we got this movie where you're a garbage man, but you're also the kicker for the Eagles." He was pretty psyched, wasn't he? He needed this.
Can I tell you, like, look, I haven't seen this movie in probably 30 years. God damn, I love that movie at the time. Like, I love watching that movie. Good.
I bet it's unwatchable right now.
It's on YouTube.
I bet it's awful.
I looked it up. It's on YouTube. We need to I'm going to try to watch it at some point, right? I'm going to try to watch it. But so that movie reminded me of like this fun story. We talk about movie business. Just a stupid tangent here, but back in the day when I was in the movie business, I worked at that theater that we talked about. I remember we would take trash out at the end of the night, and we had the boxes that the butter like cartridges came in, the butter packets or whatever. It's like a giant bag that has the hardened butter. They were the perfect size. It was almost like a shoebox. And a friend of mine we would go out at the end of the night and we would literally kick field goals, and we would kick these things into this open top dumpster, and we played like field goal kicking out of it. And it just was like a fun thing. And it always reminded me of that movie. It's so stupid, like kicking trash and like doing that, right? Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. And you, me, and a bunch of our friends, like, I just have good memories of, it's totally random for people that are listening, but we would go there in the middle of the night and we would have like a football, and we would just throw a football in this giant parking lot in the middle of the night under the lights.
Concrete parking lot, right? Because there were no lights on the fields. So we wouldn't even play football. We would just throw it and punt it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised we didn't get stopped by the cops at the time, you know?
You know, like when you have like a really good throw and you're like, man, he bombed that.
Yeah.
In reality, it's probably like 20 yards.
Did
you ever step on a football field and see how far 20 yards is?
Yeah. That's why you see like what is it, John Elway throwing the vortex out of the stadium. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, that is really far.
It's like, oh man, this kid's got a cannon. Look at that throw. It's like if you're actually on a football field, it's like 15 yards.
I mean, I don't know that we played games there, but
no, we just played catch.
I have
in the movie theater parking lot at midnight on Tuesday night in summer,
which is so weird, right? Because it's like, what do you do at that age? You're just hanging out and you're just having a good time, throwing a football in a parking lot in a movie theater. We weren't playing pickup football in the parking lot, but like these guys are playing in a parking lot of mud, right? So he's got a bunch of friends. Like we talked about this tournament, maybe or maybe not. Maybe that's why his wife. Is this like a legit league? Like, have you ever played mud pickup football?
Yeah, I mean, I remember one time I played in the mud. Versus, it was funny because it was our rival town across state lines. And it's like, Jersey versus Pennsylvania. It was like a big thing. And it was a muddy ass field. And it was one of the best sports days of my life. It was a lot of fun.
Did you win?
I don't even remember. I just remember the journey. I don't remember the destination, Drew.
Were the Jersey people wearing jeans?
Well, I mean, we weren't skiing, so no. No, but like other than that, no, basic football games, no referees, nothing,
These guys had one. That. These guys had a ref.
So I have a theory. This was not a league. That referee was clearly an old man who was too old to play. So he's like the guy who's at the bar. He's drunk. And he's like, hell, I'll ref. I got nothing better to do.
Maybe they made him ref. They made him ref instead of let him play. They're like, you can't play anymore.
All right, sorry, team's full. You got to ref. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about just Eagles fans in general. We can't talk about this movie and not talk about Eagles fans. Like we have been on record many times of being Eagles fans. As a lifelong Eagles fan for you, I know they get a lot of crap in the media. I know we get a lot of crap in the media and all this stuff. Is this movie an accurate view of a Philadelphia Eagles fan or fans?
Yeah, kind of. Like
you've been there.
Scenes. I mean. It's a PG movie, so like the language is really cleaned up. But yeah, as far as like activity in the stands, a lot of peacocking, a lot of like possible fight starting. Yeah, it's pretty accurate. I'll tell you what's not accurate though. Maybe it was back in the 70s, but in the beginning of the movie when the guy confronted the dude who was trying to leave the game early, they were getting blown out 31-0.
It's like 30 seconds left.
The guy was trying to leave, and he's like, "Oh, where you going? The game's not over." He made him sit back down and be miserable for the remainder of the game. And you're not allowed to leave. You stay here in misery with the rest of us.
I think the other thing that I thought was funny was like the booing. So they had the booing too, and look, we've been at games. We've gone to many games, and there's definitely booing, but like. The thing that offends me now as an Eagles fan, and this is just something that just cuts me to the core every single time, is like do you remember when they threw snowballs at Santa Claus, right? Yeah. It's like, all right, dude, you want to talk about the most cliche thing that's ever been said of anything ever. Mm-hmm. It's like, of course, that, and then the stupid batteries thing. Like, of course that was in there. And I feel like it was offensive that was in this movie. Like, get that out of here.
It's low hanging fruit. I mean, it's going to be. It is what it is.
The suits had to put that in there, man. That's they had to put that in there. But it's like there's other things that they could do, and I don't know. I think it was silly for them to put that in there, and it just seemed like obvious to me.
I think that the city gets a bad rap. I mean, I'm not going to go on here and defend everything, but I feel like crazy sports fans exist in every town. I thought that the depiction of Elizabeth Banks' character in the stadium with her Giants gear on was pretty accurate to to where they got on her and they were throwing stuff at her, but it was not bottles of beer. It was more like, harmless trash talking. I've been pretty, in seats with rival fans of the other team as my friend. And it was, harmless ribbing, and it was all in good fun. And I think a lot of people don't see that. They think, oh man, you can't go to an Eagles game with the Giants shirt on. You're going to get destroyed. They're going to kill you. No, it's not like that. For the most part.
If you're not going to be making a scene, then you're fine.
Yeah.
And
if
it
you're
doesn't
respectful,
matter. Like I wouldn't do that at a Giants stadium game wearing an Eagles jersey. Like I remember we went to a game on Monday Night Football. It was Eagles Packers, and there was a guy that was up front.
Oh yeah,
that was wearing an Aaron Rodgers jersey, and he was antagonizing the crowd, and he got shit for it, rightfully so, because he was being a jerk. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I wouldn't do that at an opposing fan stadium. Mind your business and you're fine. Yeah. It's like, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So what about the portrayal of Eagle fans in like Silver Linings Playbook? Like, I don't know, this is in, 76 or 78, whatever, the late 70s. Mm-hmm. That's obviously a more newer movie. You had Robert De Niro, like the lifeblood of the city kind of thing. Like they played that up, right? Especially with the backdrop of the protests and blue collar town. Like, what did you think of that?
Yeah. I also think it's pretty accurate a portrayal. Probably maybe more so than this movie. But what about the trope of the city needs this? Yeah. Right? This is all that they've got. Isn't that kind of disrespectful to the city?
It kind of is.
And
it kind of is.
They do this with like Cleveland too and Buffalo. That's all that Buffalo has is the Bills, for 16 Sundays a year. That's what they live for. That's what they work for, right? It's kind of disrespectful. It makes you feel like the city's a piece of shit, and if it wasn't for football, they'd kill themselves. And like that's totally. I feel like it's a little. That's something that a lot of storylines of not only like movies, but it's portrayed in real life, like a backdrop to like pregame things as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little disrespectful. It's like, come on, I love the Eagles, and I know I'll be depressed for a little bit when they lose a game, but I'm not going to like crawl into my bed, get under the covers, and fall into a deep depression until next Sunday.
Yeah,
that's what they make it pointed out to be. Like,
but they make it seem like everyone is like that, not just like a handful of people. Right. There are some diehard fans that it really is that way, but like it's crazy, man. Last thing I'll ask you on this, and I got to tell you this, like, so. Everyone that listens to shows, you guys know that Badway and I have been friends for a long time. Like, we bonded over our love for the Eagles for a long time. Too long. Too high. What's your favorite memory of that? Just for anyone that's listening. Being a fan.
I mean, obviously the Eagles Super Bowl. Number one, 2017.
I'll never forget
Super
that.
Bowl. I remember my first memory. The first game I ever watched was the playoff game with Randall Cunningham. I think it was 92. Where they destroyed the Lions.
Yeah.
And that's like a great introduction. Ron Cunningham was actually broke his leg. And then
Rodney
Pete came in.
Yeah, Rodney Pete.
Right? And then they played Dallas the next game and got destroyed by the Cowboys.
I'm pretty sure I cried as a kid. I went into a deep depression.
Yeah. See, but I wasn't a fan then. I was just learning football,
Yeah.
And then the following season, which I think was the 93 season, was when I first started watching games. So my first love of quarterback was Rodney Pete, actually.
Yeah.
Not Cunningham.
I came at the end of Cunningham being, elite and all that stuff. And that's when I first started following the team. And, we had a lot of good years, but like, if you guys are not familiar with this team, it's been the team that's like, oh, they just never won the Super Bowl. They never won the championship.
Always really good, never good enough.
And they got so close. And then, that one year they did, and it was like a miracle year. And I got to experience that with you, a bunch of our other friends. And man, that was I never thought that would happen.
You know what? I think it's like, might be like for any sport. I think might be, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe tell me if I'm wrong. It doesn't have to be pertaining to the Eagles or football. It could be any sport. I think the win in 2017 was sweeter than like the Patriots, who just won every year, for a long time with their dynasty. Because after a while, you get kind of jaded, and it's like you come to expect a Super Bowl. If they don't win the Super Bowl, oh, what a disappointing year! You don't like appreciate it as much, right?
I agree.
So for a team like the Eagles, who in our lifetime was always never good enough, good but never good enough, to finally get over the hump in the most unexpected of seasons after the quarterback goes down, right? I feel like that made the win sweeter. And I wonder if people feel the same way about maybe their team, to where you might not have a dynasty, but that one win kind of like it kind of like satiates the hunger more than, you become a greedy bastard over time.
Yeah.
If you're in love with the dynasty team,
Well, and for people that listen, like football is my favorite sport, American football here. And I know you're a big baseball fan. So when the Phillies, the baseball team of this area won, and was it '08, right?
Yeah.
And that for you was a huge deal,
Sure.
right? Like
Yep.
I enjoyed that, but because I'm a fan of like the teams in the area, but baseball is not my favorite sport. So like I'm a huge hockey fan, or I was at the time, and like the Flyers or the other team, they got really close a lot of times and they never won. So I didn't know, like I never had a team win a championship that I cared about in my life. So when that happened, it was like really weird to me, and it was so bizarre, but it was, I just never thought it was going to happen, and it was cool.
Like I imagine the Red Sox winning in '04 when they had like the Curse of the Bambino. And I remember the Cubs winning, and I can't remember the year. I might have been 2012. I might be getting the date wrong. But
it's in Back to the Future, right?
Yeah. But like when they won after, the whole thing and, 100 years of losing and things like that.
Yep.
Those are what makes sports special. And I feel, and, kudos to the Patriots when they won their first one, because they sucked before that. But I think anything after that is kind of like, all right, let's go.
Here we go.
But, yeah. And same thing with the Red Sox, because they became pretty dominant too. But that first win, to like get the monkey off your back, for a lot of teams, like that's special. That's what we watch sports for.
I agree with you. I think that's very well said. Before we get out of here, we got to talk about a couple things. We got to talk about Dick Vermeil, Greg Kinnear for a second, and then I want to talk to you about open tryouts on the team, and then we'll kind of end things. But just all I want to say about Greg Kinnear is, like, again, Dennis Quaid, get him in this movie. He played Dick Vermeil in American Underdog, the Hallmark looking movie with Kurt Warner that just came out in 21. Like, what was he trying to do in this? Like, was he Dick Vermeil? Like, I don't know. Like, it just weird.
I think you're picking the wrong fight here. I don't know. I thought Kinnear did all right.
He was good. It's just,
what do you want him to do? The role doesn't give him a whole lot.
What do you think about him as a coach in this? Like, it's hard because I can't say, oh, is he a better coach than Gordon Bombay? Because like Gordon Bombay is not real, but
I wasn't around for this live, obviously, when it was happening in real life, but I think Vermeil was kind of a hard ass at this time, and I don't think Kinnear portrayed that. Like, he didn't give
tried.
off. Yeah, I don't think he was successful at it, but I also don't think that he was written in this movie that hard. He was trying to whip the team into shape, give it a new identity.
Yeah.
But to me, he still came off a little too soft.
I think you said it best in that, you got the Suits and the Soulless Corporation here, like writing a movie. It's like, oh, well, we got to have Dick Vermeil in this, so here you go. And I like Greg Kinnear as an actor. Like, I think he's good. Yeah. So I don't know, like even the speech, you got like Al Pacino's speech from Any Given Sunday. Yeah. You got the speeches from, like, I don't know, I'm even thinking about Adam Sandler in The Longest Yard. Like,
you have Rick Moranis in Little Giants one time. Like,
I don't know about this speech. I don't know. Yeah. It was all right. Right. So
it was pretty just eh.
I'll give him credit for having open tryouts, even though that was completely fake and false. But we got to talk about this for a second, because I think I want to ask you some questions here, and you gotta just tell me your thoughts. If you were to walk on, like, just walk on in general, like, what do you think the easiest sport is to walk onto, and or maybe the hardest to walk onto? So, like, you have football in this. So I don't know. Could you walk on to football? Could you do that?
Absolutely not. Like, you're talking about hardest, as impossible as it would be for me to make it on a football team, I think the hardest sport to walk onto would be basketball, just because there's no hiding talent or height.
Yeah, there's only a few guys on the court.
Yeah, like, I can shoot around and I could play pickup and be fine, but you're talking about making a team. You either have to be well above 6 feet or have the dribbling skills to get around people taller than you, which I have neither. So kind of screwed there. And there's no, like, getting around it. There's no faking it, right? So there's no way I'm walking onto a basketball team. As far as football team goes, clearly I'm not going to be pushing anybody around. I'm not faster than anybody. Even if I had all the grit in the world, you still need that Vince Papale speed to get anywhere, right?
I think I would die if I think I would probably die on the field if I had to play like special teams
So
like right
here-
now.
So if we're doing me and you, I'll do a brutal assessment of you
All right.
and I trying out for football.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
You would get a broken bone the first hit.
It
you
would
took.
be the first hit. It
Yeah.
would be because
You're thinner than I am. I wouldn't make it to the hits because I would be passed out from the endurance test that they do before you even get to hit.
you're in better shape than me though. I can't do that.
The up downs, then the up downs and the side to sides. I would be on the ground before anyone even light a finger on me.
Well, I'm just imagining that blindside block that he takes from the guy, the Dallas Cowboys guy in the first game that he plays. Like I probably would die if I got hit like that by an NFL player. Is what I'm saying.
So it wasn't a pro, but during a football game, I still to this day remember the hardest hit I took in my life, and it was kind of a blindside hit in a pickup football game. But to my credit, I did get up and finish the play, finish the game.
Were you
I was
concussed?
probably concussed, but CTE didn't exist back then. It was the early 2000s.
Oh my god. Yeah, I would probably get my ass whipped. It would be bad.
Yeah.
So what sports could you make? So you're saying you can't do football, and I think I
Right.
agree with that. I don't think either of us could. But what
Yeah.
is there anything out there that you think you could walk on and make the team and maybe even be successful at?
Well, I'll tell you, I probably couldn't do baseball either, just because I'm not going to hit the fastball and I'm not going to throw a fastball. So what am I there for?
I
right?
think put me on as a pinch runner. I think I could do that.
Pitch
I
runner.
got the instincts. I could
You
do it.
do. You need the instincts. Can you read the ball in the air? All right, that's going to drop. I'll go first to third. You can do that.
All I need to do is look at the coach. He's going to give me the sign. I got
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like, I'm
Steal,
good.
don't steal. Okay.
Steal or don't steal. Like
All right. I'm not going to
put
pick that
me-
apart. I'm going to let you have it.
I'm what is it? Fast Willie Mays Hayes. Like that's me. I got it.
That's you?
Just
All
put
right,
me
okay.
out. I'll run. Put me in,
Okay.
coach.
Fair enough. I, similarly delusional. I'll say that if you give me 6 months to learn how to skate, I can do some damage as a goalie.
Like what
As a
kind of
hockey
skate?
goalie.
Ice hockey or
Yeah.
roller hockey?
Ice hockey, not roller hockey. Ice
So
hockey.
but can you do a split? Like you need to be doing Van Damme levels
No,
of
I don't.
splits.
Who says I need to be a butterfly style goalie? I don't
But
have to
did you
be
ever see
butterfly
them
style.
when they warm up? Like they
It's fine. You know what? Just because you can do that, those are show off moves. You don't have to do that.
you're not going to be pulling like a Dominic Hasek and all
No.
that.
Those are show off moves. No,
I don't know
think,
about that.
I think I could. I have good instincts. I have great reflexes.
All right. All right.
I could be the guy, like blindfold me, and then drop something next to me. I'll reach out and grab it.
You catch
Like-
it?
Like I could just sense it.
Man. You
Put me in the Karate Kid,
Star Wars guy over here.
So I feel like I have good instincts. I can I can see the angles. I can do some damage as a hockey goalie. I feel having
What-
no prior experience at all to hockey. Call me Van Damme and sudden death all the way.
What about like volleyball or something? Could you do that? You play
Well,
volleyball.
I mean,
You're on a team.
I've played volleyball.
You're on a team. Could you do it?
Intramurally, and I'm pretty terrible at it. But I know the basics.
Could you fake it long enough?
Well, our team as a whole is pretty bad, but we had fun, and I got better. I'm still not good, but I got better.
So you're not going to be out there with like
No.
Maverick and Goose.
No,
and
that's a sport. That's another sport, just like basketball, where
can't fake that.
you can't fake height, and you gotta have you need to be a baseline level of height, or else you're screwed.
I think if it involves getting crushed, I'm gonna die. If it
Yeah.
involves like any type of like you're on the spotlight, it's like a solo
Yeah.
type thing. Like other than pinch running, like
Yeah.
volleyball, like the ball's coming to you. Like,
I'm
no.
picturing you as the bride and Meet the Parents in the pool.
Yeah.
It's just you just getting your nose
My fa-
destroyed.
I like volleyball and I play it with friends, but like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be playing professional volleyball. Like
No sets, no returns. No
Yeah.
set spike. Yeah. I'll tell you what though, a sport that I always felt that I'd be good at that I've never tried in my life, and again it involves skating, is curling.
yeah.
I feel like I could curl the hell out of something.
But they have like what? They have a tough shoe and a slippery shoe.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I feel like I could do that because I'm good at bar curling. A little tabletop game, shuffleboard. Like I'm good at that game. I think I
Yeah.
could equate that to the rocks.
I like
and the
shuffleboard.
ice. Yeah.
what about like billiards or ping pong?
See, those are skill games where you could get run out of a building just by a standard good person.
You're
let
not a pool
alone,
shark?
yeah. Do you ever see if you're back in the good old days? And they probably still show this show back on the Deuce on ESPN2. There's this. They called the woman. I think her name was the Spider. Or
Yes,
something.
the
And
Spider.
she wore
The
like
Black
these,
Widow, right?
These Black Widow. She wore these thick glasses, And she was just like, if you let her serve, you don't get to play. She's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, done. Game's over, 9 ball.
I remember that. I used to watch that. It was on ESPN2 at like 2 a.m.
You ever watch ping pong at the Olympics? Get
well,
out
I've
of here.
seen Forrest Gump play, so
that's
it's
exactly.
What about car racing? I mean, I played Forza, so I played like
sure.
Gran Turismo.
Let me tell you,
could do that, right?
My ass gets sore on a 4-hour ride, man. Can you imagine
driving on
going
the highway
200 miles an hour in a circle for freaking 3 hours?
Like
get out.
How bored does a race car driver get just driving on?
Do they get music in there?
Like,
do you have to listen to your freaking coach all day?
Turn left. Coach.
Turn left.
But
turn
like,
left.
imagine you're a race car driver and you're driving on like just a road here at like 35 miles an hour. Like, how boring is that to you? You need like
they
a
probably
driver
don't even
so
drive.
else.
They probably don't even drive because it probably drives them nuts.
That's like the Flash walking. Like, you just don't want to walk. Like, why? It's inefficient.
My one sport that I'm telling you I'm good at is water polo.
No, heck
Put me in the pool. I will throw the hell out of that ball. And conversely, I will defend the hell out of that ball if you put me in goalie.
I will say you're a fish. Yeah, I know you're a fish and you're a good swimmer. I'm a witness to this.
Yep.
But water polo, like, dude, you're like over the Marianas Trench like level of deep water there.
I have to like work on my endurance for sure. Yeah, you're right. They show like the underwater view of those dudes and girls. That pool
it's like 50 feet
is
deep.
like it's unreasonably deep. It doesn't have to be that deep.
There's like a shark under there.
Yeah, it's so deep. Like it only has to be like 10 feet. But it's for some reason it's 50 feet deep.
It's ominously deep. You don't know what lurks under there. That's how deep it is. They don't want you touching it. That's why.
Yeah. Maybe it's because like is it the same pool that the divers use?
Probably.
I don't know. So like, it has to be that deep. But
they don't want the chance that a guy's going to go down and like push off.
Like what if like Shaq decides he wants to play this game? They would have no chance of that. Yeah.
No chance of it whatsoever.
They don't even want to like have to like think about calling a foul. So let's just make it 50 feet deep.
We played this in gym class, but I'm pretty sure we just stood, right? Like we didn't.
It was in 4 feet. Yeah, it was in 4 feet.
It was in the shot. It's like in the little kids section.
Fun game. You skip the ball in the water. It's like for a speed shot. It's great.
Okay, so that's with sports, but I think there's another flavor to this that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
So Vince Papale, like he's a bartender, he's a teacher, like he's gonna walk on and play football. He played pickup football here. I have some thoughts on some of these. So what other professions can you walk on to? I'm going to ask you a couple of these.
Real life walk on.
Yeah. So this is a real life walk on. Like, let's say you're an athlete and you're going to go walk on to like a profession. Like, what about a lawyer? Could you be a walk on lawyer?
Oh, like a regular Gambini?
Yeah. Like you got to walk. I'm not talking like Saul Goodman level. Like you got to go. I mean, this is a case. Like you're going into the case.
I think I can do it, but as everyone can hear me on this podcast, it might take me a while to spit out my thoughts, right? So I'd be in the court and I'd be like, Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you could just wait, hold on a second. Let me just think. This guy is, based on the case. What's the case? I'm trying to think of the case. Roe v. Wade. Yeah,
too high,
that one.
Too high.
Too high. Like,
Your Honor, it's 10 years in jail.
I think I could argue my point, but it would be so scatterbrained that the jury would just be confused by me. And I'd feel bad for my clients.
Just imagine yourself, like you wake up one day, like I'm talking like, you have a nightmare where it's like you wake up and you go to school and you forgot to study for the test.
Yeah.
Like imagine you like woke up and you had to go to you're given the court case. So you're trying to get somebody off for murder or something. You got to run this case.
Dude.
Like, could you do it?
So I had this dream one time. I remember this very vividly where I was a wrestler, right? And I was like excited to like, I was going to wrestle. And then I get to the ring and I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't train. I don't know how to do this. What am I going to do? I don't know why I remember that, but this is the very scenario.
Like, I'm so screwed.
Like, I walked on to wrestling and it's WrestleMania and like, I don't know how to do this. How do I put a match together? How do I do this?
What about a doctor? And I think there's a couple kinds here, right? Because there's like, maybe you could do like family practitioner because they just go in the back room and like they can Google it,
Yeah. The nurse does all the work.
But like, what about like a brain surgeon? Like, can you do that?
You can't do the hands-on stuff. I could sit there and like predict what kind of sick you are just by you sitting in front of me. What are your symptoms? Yeah, what are your symptoms?
You have a fever.
Yeah. And then you're right. Like you do a little Googling and then you figure out, okay, well, this clearly you have the mumps.
But I guess like every time you go on WebMD, they either tell you are dying and you have cancer for everything. So it's like I guess everybody's got cancer in that doctor's office. Every
I'd be like, well, you might have cancer, but you might not. But you might.
Well, what about like a chef? If you got thrown into I don't know, like a Michelin star restaurant, and they tell you like, you got to do this, like, can you do that like under the pressure? Like I'm imagining like Overcooked. You know the game Overcooked?
Yeah,
like, that's what I'm imagining.
So here's the thing: what if there was a scenario, and maybe this is a game show where like you and a 5-star chef are in the kitchen with the same ingredients, right? And
beat Bobby Flay.
The presentation is mishmashed, right? So like the chef, that's going to be a nice looking plate or whatever. Say like they mishmash the food so it looks sloppy for both of you, and then you give them both the Gordon Ramsay. Would he be able to pick out the 5-star chef one versus the amateur?
Like a stew or something, or like a soup? Yeah. Like I guess because it doesn't matter.
No, even if it's like a cut of meat or something or whatever, meat and vegetables or whatever. But instead of it looking like, obviously the chef would look nice and it'd be dressed nicely, drizzled the sauce. Like each plate would look equally disheveled.
Yeah,
and you're going purely on taste, and you have the same ingredients in front of you, so you know exactly what to use. Is there any chance that me, the amateur, could beat the pro?
I mean, I've watched Beat Bobby Flay, and if you just take the presentation out of it, like he does lose from time to time.
But also, he's losing to people that are like, obviously, they have their own business. Me, who can barely cook mac and cheese, could I do this? But it's easier than say, all right, here's the ingredients, you do it, versus the ingredients to hit a baseball 500 feet. Here's the bat, there's the ball. It's impossible for me to beat, Mike Trout in a home run hitting contest, but there's a chance I can
like it just comes together.
Beat the chef in the kitchen. Yeah, there's a chance.
Like the perfect ingredient, the perfect mixture. It's like you're not going to hit the ball at the exact. I mean, maybe you could hit a home run out of like thousands of swings.
Out of thousands of swings, but if you give me one shot, maybe the taste tester prefers my dish to Bobby Flay's.
Look, I'm not a good chef, but like. Sometimes some of the best recipes are when you just throw a bunch of stuff in a pot and see what happens.
Yeah. It's like freaking Breath of the Wild, right?
You
throw the stuff in the pot. And sometimes
see what comes out.
Sometimes you get a plus 20 heart thing.
One other comment on Bobby Flay, by the way, and I'm sure every comedian's told this joke, and I don't know if they have, but like it's not even a joke; it's a thing, right? Beat Bobby Flay. It's like you're the best. You're making cupcakes, right? You're a cupcake baker or whatever.
Cupcake shop. This is the best cupcake shop in Florida.
And you're doing a thing, and like the way that he challenges them, like it's their event. It's like I'm doing like a thing for like charity. Like I'm on display. It's like I'm excited about myself, and you get this celebrity coming in saying, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna beat you, but I'm gonna make what you make, and I'm gonna make it better than you at your event."
He's like, I don't even cook cupcakes.
Is that a violation?
I'm gonna do this better than you.
Isn't that a violation?
Very much a violation.
Well, sometimes the people get really upset, and it's like, I kind of can't blame them.
They concoct a fake like celebration of their own business in order to fool them, and then by the way, we're not celebrating you. You're actually competing against Bobby Flay.
Put the clown mask on. That's what that is. That's a clown show. Are there any other professions that you think you could walk onto successful?
Oh well, I mean, I did walk onto woodworking, and
true story.
I did successfully do that.
That's a true story.
And I was released for unceremonious reasons, which I won't get into. But it did not involve my craftsmanship. I was pretty good at it.
Are the Badway cabinets still out there and kicking?
I'm sure they're in some houses. I'm sure they're in some houses. And I'll tell you what, I bet those knobs look great.
What about like a teacher? Like John Kimball did it. He was a detective.
Now careful now. Now you know a lot of teachers, so be careful now. Careful what you say.
I'm not saying that they do a good job, but could you be serviceable?
I think I could do kindergarten. I wouldn't be able to tolerate them for very long, but I could do the job. The problem with me is the toleration.
Tolerance. I'd rather do high school. I can't kindergarten's too hard, man.
No, but the high school kids, they're all wise asses.
Yeah, that's true. They'll punk you. They'll clown you.
Maybe third grade.
Maybe third. Whatever the middle school age, I guess, is probably good. Where let
me substitute third grade social studies the week that they're doing state capitals. I would crush it.
Did you know the song, the state capital song? They had to sing it.
I didn't even need the song. I was a prodigy.
They taught us a song back in the day, and we had to sing it. But No, I'm not gonna like. The other one I thought about was like a welder or like some specific craft. Like, there's no way. Like, I think that's cocky to think that I can just walk up and start being a welder. Like, I don't know. That's what this is.
You know, in your day, you were like a borderline professional photographer.
Yeah,
I feel like you could go out there and have award-winning pictures
I
walking
don't know.
on. Yeah, but I think you're more equipped to do that than most things.
You have portrait mode on the phone. It's like
you walk on. Yeah,
I guess I could do that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting to look at, like, okay, this guy just walk on and become part of this team. Like, I'm glad he did it, and I'm glad it happened, and it was a reality, but kind of ballsy when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, but really, I mean, the true story is he didn't walk on to nothing. Is that they invited him,
right,
along with a select group of other equally talented guys who had a reasonable chance of winning. I thought it was kind of funny how in the movie they portrayed it as everyone gets to walk on. You have a fat guy with a cape on for some reason. I think back to the Sunny episode where it's like very similar scenario to where like these fat, out of shape people, like there's no realistic way they have a chance of making the team. But they feel like they did have a realistic chance of making the team. And that's all a good comedy.
Well, it's ironic too, because right, Wahlberg was the one that could make the team. He didn't think he was going to make it. You said this before we went live.
He was realistic about it, and
they thought they were going to make it. And he didn't. So there's no like actual villain in this movie, right? And I know it's mid-70s, but we wouldn't be Eagles fans if we didn't say that we need to rate somebody on the villain scale here. And I think we got to go Dallas Cowboys Jerry Jones here real quick. Like, I'm not saying we go through the full thing, but I know we've probably given this some thought.
Yeah, look, this is real easy. I mean,
should we make the card too?
Yeah, we can make the card. I mean, look and style, he's getting a 1 because he's a real life Skeletor. He's just come on.
He does look like Skeletor.
Skeletor when you're actually a skeleton, pretty badass. Skeletor when you're an 80-year-old man, not badass.
Unless when you have the skeleton hair, like the bus driver from from Speed.
Hideout and Lair, clearly a 5. That stadium rocks. That's his stadium. He built
AT&T Stadium.
He can live in there if he wants. Yeah. That's a 5. Plan is a 1 because he sucks at building teams. Let's be honest.
But he did. It's the most valued team in America, probably.
Used to be good back in the 90s.
Used to be slick back.
And then his henchmen, a.k.a. his players and coaches, 3 out of 5 because they're kind of good, but not as good as they should be.
Yeah, they haven't won anything since the 90s, so living in the past. So what is that, a 10?
10 out of 20.
10 out of 20. There you go.
Perfectly mediocre.
We gotta rate Jerry Jones on the villain scale, and we wouldn't be Eagles fans if we didn't do that here. So that was fun. So, look, I had fun with this one. As much as this movie wasn't my favorite, I still enjoyed watching it. Like you said, it just kind of was soulless. That's my verdict of it. 2.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd for me. And I think that's just right.
It was a good excuse to talk about football, I think. And I love to bring out into the world my thoughts on his horrible ex-wife. And like that was the most fun for me.
I want to know what you guys think. Did you watch this movie? Did you enjoy it? Send us an email, thelastrow@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the episode's page, thelastrow.podcast.com. Tweet at us at thelasrowpod, facebook.com/thelasrowpod. Leave a comment on the YouTube episode. We're getting a bunch of comments on the YouTube episode. Thanks for everyone that's interacting with us on there. And if you're enjoying the show, please consider subscribing and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podchaser. And as always, we'll be back in 2 weeks on Thursday, October 13th, and we'll see you guys with a new episode.
What about... you walk on to the pornos?
I don't think I could. I mean, if they give me pills, I guess maybe.
Well, technically every adult film.
That's what walk on. They didn't get drafted.